Take a look at some of the equations and some of the problems we can solve based on these angle relationships when lines and parallel lines are cut by a transversal. So let's start off by establishing that line A is parallel to line M. So if we establish that, there's certain things that we already established in the previous video that let's remind ourselves about. We know that alternate interior angles, when lines are parallel, they are congruent. So are alternate exterior angles, and so are corresponding angles. The only one that's different are same side interior angles down here, and those are not congruent, those are supplementary. And as a reminder, supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. Remember, supplementary starts with the letter S, so does the word straight. Supplementary angles make straight lines, which are 180. Okay, great. Let's throw a problem at you here. Okay, so I have given you that one of these angles here is 154 degrees. Our job is to fill out the rest of these angles. So if I go in and let's draw my car. So here's my car, here's my car. I'll throw some tail lights or some headlights right here and right here. We'll throw some tail lights back here. All right, so there's my car. So first of all, there's a lot of different ways we can do this. We bring 6 different angle relationships to the table when trying to solve these problems. We have our alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, same side interior, but we also have vertical angles and linear pairs that we know the relationships of. So if we take a look at these, we can apply any of those 6 angle relationships to this problem. So I'm just going to jump in right here. I know that vertical angles are always congruent, and I'm very good at spotting vertical angles because they're opposite regions of an x. So if this angle here is 154, I know that angle 2 is also 154 because I know that vertical angles are always congruent. Okay, so now where can I go from here? Well, I'm also going to jump down to angle 6 because I know angle 6 is not only corresponding with angle 2, but it's also the alternate exterior angle with that 154 degree angle. So I know angle 6 is also 154. Well, I could also, using that same logic, if this is 154 up here, I know that angle 5 is its corresponding angle. So angle 5 is also 154 because those are congruent. I could also prove that because it's the vertical angle with angle 6 and it's the alternate interior angle with angle 2. So using any of those reasons, I know that those angles are all congruent. Well, that's great, but how can I find these remaining 4 angles? Well, what I now need to do is I now need to apply a couple different ways. Option number 1 is I can apply a linear pair. I know that this angle, 154, and angle 1 just so happen to make a linear pair. Linear pairs make straight lines, so they have to be supplementary. So I've got to figure out 180 minus 154 in order to figure out what the measure of angle 1 is. And if I subtract those, 180 minus 150 is 30, 30 minus 4 is 26. So I know that this angle right here is 26 degrees. The other way I could have thought about that is I've got same side interior angles right here with angle 2 and angle 4 or angle 3 and angle 5. Well, those are also supplementary. So I know that 180 would be 180 minus 154 would also get me 26 for angle 3 and angle 4. So now vertical angles tells me that if 1 is 26, angle 3 is 26. Alternate interior angles or corresponding angles tells me that angle 4 is also 26. And then we could have vertical angles, we could have corresponding angles, we could have alternate exterior angles. That tells me angle 7 is also 26. All right, now they're going to get really fancy on us here because now they throw an expression at us and we have to use the angle relationships in order to set up an equation and solve for x. So what kind of angles do I have here with this angle here and this angle here? Well, hopefully you can see, here's my car. You can see these 2 angles are on the inside. Both of them are on opposite sides of the transversal. 4x minus 10 is on the left side of the transversal. 58 is on the right side of the transversal. So these are alternate exterior angles. And because they're alternate exterior angles, I know that they're equal to each other because these lines are parallel. Notice we have the arrow, so we know they're parallel. 4x minus 10 equals 58. And again, I know that just to kind of remind us, I'll put alt x angles just to remind us of why we got that. Well, now it just turns into an Algebra 1 problem. I have to solve by getting x by itself, so I add 10 over. 4x equals 68. To solve, get x by itself, I divide by 4, and this gets me, 68 divided by 4. I know 40 divided by 4 is 10, and 28 divided by 4 is 7, so 10 plus 7 gets me x equals 17 for my answer.